7:29.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our AIS Open Day for 2019. What we will do, I will just give another 5 minutes for some to join us, and then we can start talking about what from my side I have to share with all of you about the course, what we are offering, and what are the reason one should get into this science and what are the perspectives. So all those things we will share together, and then we will open question answer session. So any question you will have, we will discuss that. So let's give another 5 minutes if some are joining us a little bit late, and then we can start.
All right. It's okay, wait.
Okay, so let's start what we have to talk about today. Now, I'm sure means majority of you must have done your homework and tried to investigate with your own effort that what is Ayurveda and why we all are becoming more and more interested to learn about this ancient science. So that is where, first of all, will be good for us to discuss. But giving you a brief about me, first of all, if some of you have not any idea about what my background is, I came in this country 25 years ago, and since then I am practicing and teaching Ayurveda in New Zealand as well as in Australia. We run our college in Australia also for the last 23 years. And just to share with you that we are the only two countries in the Western world where Ayurvedic qualification is officially recognized as a qualification after which student can start as a practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine. But first, what we need to know that why this science now, when the world is moving towards more and more new inventions and new technologies. We are now about to see the flying cars and so many other things, and the world is all under our one finger, and every information is. So, why we all feel that there is a need to know about this sort of medicine which is old, have no relevancies, these kind of questions get asked. But in spite of all these things, you will find that new researches has come up, new inventions comes every day, new drugs keep coming every week. But in spite of that, world is still not able to control the sufferings, and those sufferings at every level, physical, mental, emotional. And in spite of the diseases to go more and more less, what we see, the problems are actually on the other side, always on increase. So one think about this that what can be the reason? Reason is very simple. Till the day we will keep focusing on symptomatic solution of the problem, no disease can be controlled. It will keep coming up. We might be able to control the symptom, but then those will lead us to further side effects and further complication. And that's what every one of us see every day. And that's where public people like you all are interested to see that how we can find something which help us to understand that how we can correct the cause of the problem rather than masking the symptom. And not only that, a science which can also empower every individual that how they can play a role in their well-being rather than all the time relying on one pill or the other. And this is where you will find the Ayurvedic science comes in handy to understand. And the reason of saying so is because Ayurveda is not just a science or not a modality. It is actually a philosophy of life, where one can understand what is the purpose of my life. What is the purpose of coming me in this universe? And understanding those principles, not at a physical level, but how we can learn to connect the body as a whole, physical, mental, emotional. Because problems does not only come from the physical aspects. There are 90% chances are the problem might lie somewhere else and might manifest at a physical level. And this is what we call as root cause. And until or unless we are able to identify that root cause, we won't be able to correct the problem. So that's in a nutshell, in simple way, we can talk about what is Ayurveda is all about. The word Ayurveda itself explain Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge. The science which can give us the knowledge of our life. That is what Ayurveda is all about. Now we just need to talk about few things, that what is the status of Ayurveda in this country, especially in New Zealand we talk about. As I shared that when I came 25 years ago and start making effort to start teaching Ayurveda in this country, I started teaching with one of the other college beforehand, but then that college was not interested to implement the traditional and authentic principle of Ayurveda and more interested to amalgamate it with the other kind of modality so that their courses can be run in a more better way. But that is never is my focus. For me, if we want to practice Ayurveda, it has to be in its true form, in its traditional principles, so that people can really see the benefit what Ayurveda is able to share and pass on to us. So, on that note, when we started looking at students to enroll for our courses, in the beginning, it was always a problem, even though the two qualification which has been approved by the New Zealand Qualification Authority, what we call as NZQA, but still Ayurvedic qualification which we are running in our college does not apply for students to get student loan and allowances. And as you all know, in New Zealand, everyone want to study through the student loan and allowances, which is fair enough. If you're able to get student loan and allowances for having a dancing course to complete, why not in a course which help not ourselves but to the community and give and empower the community to live in a more healthy life. But due to whatever reason, this is not the view of our national governments, and they feel that this qualification does not require student loan and allowances to be approved, and that has been a constant obstacle in our path to run successfully in a qualification for this Ayurvedic medicine, in spite of the fact that Ayurveda is the most growing science all over the world at the moment. And the reason of that is people are having different kind of modalities done and tested, whether we talk about naturopath, we talk about herbalism, we talk about aromatherapy, we talk about acupuncture, we talk about other kind of thing. And what they have found that one or the other reason these sciences cannot give you that holistic approach what we talk about. And whereas Ayurveda is that science which is known for its holistic approach. And that's where people are more and more interested to follow this science. I mean, just across the other part of the world, which we call as Australia, if you look at, we are teaching again those two qualifications which are approved by the Australian government successfully for the last 22 years now. And every time we have to stop taking the new enrollment, because in each year we only try to take 30 students or so, and we get all the time more and more numbers as compared to in New Zealand, where we're not able to get sufficient students so that we can run in a successful group and session to achieve the course, as well as produce quality practitioner who can actually help public to spread the name of Ayurveda and establish their own practices. So that is where the status of Ayurveda is presently in New Zealand. We still have few practitioners who are practicing at different level. And as you all know, Ayurveda comes under complementary medicine in this country. It is a self-regulatory science. So there is no restriction for anyone to start practicing Ayurveda, even if you visit India for a 1 month and you can come and start practicing. So those are the different things. But those who are really keen to practice it in a much more authentic way and more with a confidence and not interested in a piece of paper, they always look for that what courses are available, and that's what we are trying to share. So on the screen you can see there are those two qualifications. One is known as New Zealand Diploma in Ayurvedic Health and Management, and the other one is one is level 5 and one is level 6. The 6th one give you the ability to become an Ayurvedic practitioner, but level 5 is the prerequisite for level 6. And these are the two qualifications which we are hoping to now run again. Now, some of the normal questions which sometimes people ask and talk about, because in Australia we have now at least 8 colleges who are offering Ayurvedic qualifications. Now, question comes up that, okay, hang on, why we should study with AIAS, which is our college? Again, as I said, that anyone who is keen to learn Ayurveda in its traditional and true form, I can assure you, your choice can be an AIS and you will never regret on that. But if you feel my interest is into Ayurveda because I just heard of Ayurveda, it's in a new age kind of science where I can go, and because nowadays people try to talk about that you can chant Om and you can do this and that kind of thing, that is not what AIS is for. These two courses which we have developed and got the approval from the NZQA as a national qualification now, they are course content of those has been taken from the course what we offer in India as a 6-year university degree. We call it as a Bachelor in Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery, which gives you a qualification of as an Ayurvedic doctor. So the course contents are from that degree, and we try to teach at that level so that when you finish and end up either as a level 5 graduate or level 6 graduate, you feel confident that now I can practice with full confidence. I am fully equipped with all kind of techniques and requirement and knowledge which is required for me to help someone for whatever problem they come up, simple hay fever or to the deeper problem. So that's where the one part you will always try to look at in as far as why we should be selecting in a college where we always going to talk about that this college is good or bad. That's not our job to talk about. Our focus is to give you clear understanding that when you will make a decision, make an informed decision, that if you're going to commit to learn this qualification with AIS, we are 200% committed to you. And that's where we would like to see a committed student, passionate, and who are dedicated to learn the science. Now, another question in the Western world always comes up that when you are trying to learn Ayurveda, why you have to learn from a qualified teacher or qualified practitioner? Because again, as I said, at present, whether it is New Zealand or Australia or any part of the world, this Ayurvedic science comes under complementary medicine, and complementary medicines are self-regulatory. So what that means is, even if you just make a trip to India and spend 2 months or 3 months and study small courses here and there, or you just start learning to chant or have some words of Ayurveda or Vata Pitta Kapha or Sanskrit pronounced more clearly, you can come here and establish yourself. If you are good in the marketing, that become a good practitioner, good teacher, no one is going to stop you. But at the end, each one of us has to decide that if I'm committing to learn this science, I'm putting my time, energy, and money, what I'm seeking for. If I'm looking for a piece of paper, then any college, anywhere you can get these kind of things. But if you feel, no, I'm actually more interested to get the true knowledge, which you can easily understand, that if a teacher, whoever, my position gets more awkward that I have to explain this point while I'm explaining in the open day and not the other teacher or other our person. And it's not good to talk about these things yourself, but still to give you an understanding what is in the Western world, that where someone who himself has never seen or herself never seen a client in their life, never visited a pharmacy, never have visited an Ayurvedic hospital, how that person can stand in front of you and talk about those practical aspects which ultimately make this course the more focused for the client base, clinical knowledge. And to achieve that, no matter wherever you study, you always look for someone who has sufficient clinical experience, sufficiently actively practicing in their life, and have a teaching experience also. Those are the few things which you need to look at and try to find out when you're talking about. Now, next question, which is the most relevant for us to talk about, that how this course is structured. Because many times people will prefer that, okay, look, I'm only want to study face-to-face course in the classroom where I can go every day in the class room and be in the presence of the teacher, which is very ideal, no question about that. But as you understand and you will appreciate that in present time, to run in a full-time course and to study full-time, it sometimes become very difficult, or if I say unrealistic, it won't be too much exaggeration. Reason, you have your own commitments, or student like you who are interested to learn Ayurveda. They not everyone living in Auckland. You might be from the other part of the New Zealand. And secondly, you have to earn your own money. You might have a commitment to the family or other. So in that situation, it becomes very difficult in present day scenario, especially when the government is not supporting the study and other thing, to run in a full-time course. That is why we taken the help of the technology to make it such a course where you have every day, every week, face-to-face interaction through these WebEx. This is what we do. Most of our courses, 40 times in the year, you will have that every day, once a week, 2 or 2.5 hour class. And then you have what we call as our weekends, and there are 2 or 3 in each year are our 9 days in-house training where all the practical components has to be done face to face. So when you will start committing and trying to finalize your uh, decision, you will get all those information that what dates are for those weekends, and what are the 8 9 days program, so that you can make an informed decision and you can see those dates that your availability can come up. So we call it as a more interactive, flexible delivery format where you have the ability to be in on face to face with the teacher, and then face to face and online in real time scenario, and also means for all your subject, whenever you need in a kind of a sport, we are available, so that you don't feel that you are in Nelson or Wellington or somewhere and you have to just be on your own. And this course has been very successful in Australia. We are running this for the last, I think, 15 16 years, and gone very successfully. And the same format we are trying to run now this year for New Zealand. Now, again, this just in a brief understanding for you that what this qualification does to give you. Level 5, as I shared, even after level 5, you will be capable and able to help your client and community at a different level. You will be in a position to give them a lifestyle advice. You will be able to give them an advice on their diet. You will be able to give them various kind of techniques to empower themselves, how to eliminate the cause of the diseases, as well as you can also have various skills which we call as your body work treatment. So those way you can help your client in a various aspects. So course component, I am sure in the prospectus when you got that, that has been given you in a detailed understanding on that. Then this is where you will find all a little bit more in detail form that what actually you will learn, whether it's the body work, whether it's about the herbs, whether it's the diagnostic skill of the pulse examination, tongue examination, eye examination, how to take a case history, and then also understanding your body type, understanding the Ayurvedic physiology and the pathologies of the various diseases. So all that component are at level 5 also. And when we go to the level 6, these things become much more advanced. And in the level 5 also, you will learn about the various herbs, that what these herbs are and how they can be used. So those are how. Now here we are trying to give you a bit more of the various units, what we call them, and what are their learning outcomes, how that course is structured. So that part is something for you to look at, which is in a part of your prospectus. In that one you can read and understand more clearly. And just in a delivery program for you to share, this is which I just shared before, that it will be in a weekly live webinar. As we are talking, the same way you will log in, you will have the opportunity to ask question. Your question will be read by everyone, and when I give the answer, you will have the cross question ability to talk about. So that's the part. And then, as you can see, there is in a first year give you 3 weekend intensive at our Auckland campus. That's where you will come up. And then there is in a 7 days program again in Auckland campus. And then your weekly online study, you will go through the portal which AIAS will offer you. And then the same way in second year you can look at. The level 5 course is an 18-month commitment, and then you can enroll for the next part, the level 6 one, which is another 18 months. So total course structure is for 3-year time frame. Now just to look at some of the questions which come up and talk about. Now sometimes someone always asks, okay, what you mean by that Ayurveda is not just a modality but a philosophy? That is where sometimes people get muddled up and confused. One thing what Ayurveda talk about, very simply, that when you are learning something, you must make sure that whatever you are learning to help others, first apply in your own life and see that whether it makes sense or not, whether it is incorporating daily routines, whether it is incorporating diet part or lifestyle aspect. You as a student or we as a practitioner must make sure that whatever I'm giving advice in my clinic is a part or parcel of my life. That is what means philosophy. Your role is not just to learn the treatment and give it to the client. That must be adhered to in our own life. I will give you an example. If you are going to talk to someone that you should wake up in the morning, because you might have read somewhere that waking in the early hours of the day at 5 a.m. or 5:30 or 4:30 is a very good, we call it as a Brahma Muhurta, and this help in revitalizing. And I keep advising that to my client. But when I look at myself, I always wake up 8 a.m. or 8:30 or like that. Is it going to work? Never. That is the one thing we always need to remember. No matter how much I am capable of cheating others by talking something, but I cannot cheat myself. That is how we always need to remember, and that's what the first basic principle of Ayurveda is. If I keep doing those things, I will keep churning inside, and that churning will ultimately make me to sit across the table in my clinic on the client's chair rather than always on the practitioner chair. If I have to sit on my practitioner chair always and help my client, I must adhere the principles which I try to practice be a part of my own life. That's the very basic, and that's what reason we say that Ayurveda is a philosophy where we have to live with it so that we can also see whatever is being shared to us by our ancient sages, and now we are trying to share with our client is really workable. It's a practical science. That is what this question mean to us. And then sometime some student ask, what is unique in Ayurveda? Now you might say, okay, look, hang on, every science talk about that we work on the root cause and not on the symptom. So this is something I won't buy that. Very true. But you need to understand, when we talk about Ayurveda, as I shared before, it has certain very clear, unique features on which our whole consultation, whole program, whole course is based on. One of the prime unique principle of this science is it talk about that each one of us has a unique body makeup. What that means is that each individual has a unique prakriti or body type. And this principle of body type is given to all of us at our birth time. And that determine our liking, disliking, reaction to different food, different activity, different season. And that understanding can also help us very early stages in our life, or whenever you will able to find what body makeup you are, that what is compatible to me and what is incompatible to me. And now the next question comes up, hang on, why I should know that? Don't you think I can live without knowing that? You can definitely live. But what this understanding of knowing your body makeup and trying to live according to that, because once you know what is compatible to you, what is incompatible to you, and you start following that principle, that helps to retain the second unique feature of this science, which talk about that every person's body has a unique bodily intelligence. And as long as that bodily intelligence is in balanced state, body itself has the ability to flush out all the buildup of the toxin, which can get built in every individual on a day-to-day basis, the wear and tear that happen at a physical, mental, and emotional level. Problem only come when that bodily intelligence get affected. And that is what, as a practitioner, our main focus is to identify that whether my client's bodily intelligence is in balance or not. If not, then we try to identify what factor has led to that. And the closest factors we look at is the person's lifestyle, the diet, the environment in which they live and work. And then on top of that, we try to see how the person's state of mind is working in relation to the body. Because to achieve that perfect balance, to achieve that complete approach of well-being, you need a harmony between mind and body. But then further unique feature will relate with the part of the mind, psychology, because in Ayurveda, psychology is the most unique component. And when you will start understanding what it is or what is the psychology principle of Ayurveda, you will find very easily that why we talk about that Ayurveda has a certain unique feature. So that kind of understanding you will learn through this course to really empower yourself that what can make me as in a good practitioner. Again, the same question comes up that why we should be looking at to learn Ayurveda in a more authentic form. As I said, we are very much as a human being of that kind of nature that we want to mold the various principles of any ancient knowledge according to our own comfort. You look at the yoga in the world. I'm sure many or most of you must have heard of yoga, and many of you might be doing yoga. Now, yoga is an integral part of Ayurveda because these both sciences originate from the one source. And yoga's part. Now, what yoga is popular in the world, we all know the form of asana. No one talk about the yoga philosophy. No one understand what is yama and niyamas are. What are the 8 limbs of yoga? And that is where the part of the philosophy comes up. Now, many time I always have given example, person who is practicing yoga, very good, at least something they are doing, but one need to ask themselves a question. Do I do yoga or do I live yoga? There is a huge difference between these two sentences. If I do yoga, then it means I spread my organic mat and then try to put my legs up and down for 1 hour, half an hour, and then rest of the 23 hours of my life will be according to my own lifestyle and on my liking. Whereas when you start living yoga, you live every breath of your life with the principle of yoga. That's the difference. And that's the only reason that in spite of being a yoga practitioner or a yoga follower, we still suffer from very basic. I'm not going to say here that if you are Ayurvedic practitioner or a yoga practitioner, you become immortal. Never. That is not our focus and not we are aiming for. What we are aiming for is that how I can enjoy my life, how I can live in a much more healthier state. But what I'm sharing here is many times when people just live by yoga, or just do yoga kind of thing, you will find 99% of them still have shallow breathing. Shallow breathing means less prana in their life. And how come? When I'm a yoga practitioner or I'm following yoga or I try to practice it on a daily basis, first component which should come up in my life more strongly is my breathing, because that is what the yoga's main focus is. But that does not happen. And the reason of that is only when we have that much interest in that one particular science, which is for my own benefit, because I learn taking my leg up and down or backward or forward, and then I can become a yoga practitioner, open my own studio and start teaching people, because that is what giving me what I'm looking for. But if I have to live my life according to yoga principle, I'm not interested, because I still like my marijuana, I still like my smoking, I still like my eating all the things which are good for my tongue and not for my body, not for my mind. And if that is the approach, then please don't join AIAS. That I will very openly share with you. If someone is interested in a superficial knowledge, AIAS is not for them. Because at the end, no one would like to be asked again and again that every day that you must implement principles in your own life. And for me also, till the day I am attached to AIAS, that is not my focus. Because I prefer, if we want to become a family who can help community, become a family where we understand that our thought, our views, our passion is on the same level. And that's what I will be always sharing with you. Then comes up again the same thing I already have answered. If we are talking about a course which is practically more clinical based, because to help the client, but if someone has never ever seen a client in their own life, how they can teach? So that's the way you need to look at. You have to make an informed decision that what you want to learn and where you want to learn. Now, I already answered that question, that how does Ayurveda relate to the yoga? Again, now this is another question which again we have already talked about. Someone might say, okay, hang on, why I need to spend 18 months when I can learn Ayurvedic massage in 6 weeks? Fair enough. I already have shared. No one going to question you if you, even 6 weeks is too much time. I think we have put on this slide, it can be 6 days. So people can go anywhere, try to look at how to put your hand on to the body and then chant a little bit long mantra or do some other kind of tricks in the room, and people will feel good. If that helps, no worries. That is what someone can do. But if you are committed, if you are looking for an authentic learning, yes, there is a one place. I can assure you, without any ego, you will never able to find any place where you can learn authentic Ayurveda in this part of the world for sure. Then this is another question which get asked many times, that what kind of employment perspective? As you all know, that with the complementary medicine, most of the time people prefer to start their own practices, even though at initial you might start as in a small level, but slowly you can grow. But there are a lot of opportunities at the moment coming up out, as I shared before, that public is more and more interested into this science and interested to know that how more holistic and authentic approach, even means initially when you are say starting, you can start with a bodywork treatment like Ayurvedic marma therapy massage, which is a very profound treatment for giving you the benefit at a various level. to counter the fatigue, tiredness, energy level, your sleep issues and kind of thing. Then one of the most strongest treatment of Ayurveda, what we call as Shirodhara. Shirodhara means Shiro is the head, Dhara means flow. In that kind of treatment, a specific oil at a specific temperature from a specific height continuously flow on your forehead, and this is we call as a drug-free solution to your stress, anxiety, insomnia, panic attack, hormonal imbalances. That's another treatment. Then there is another body work which you will learn at a first level is known as Ayurvedic musculoskeletal treatment. Means Ayurvedic treatments for your lower back injuries, sciatica, frozen shoulders, cervical spondylitis, neck problems, those kind of conditions which relate with the musculoskeletal or the back problem, which you always see people try to go to the physio, try to go to acupuncture, try to go to osteopath and chiropractor, and then as you can see they go on again so many frequently once a week or once a fortnight or those kind of thing, but then still the problem is there. Whereas when you will learn those techniques, you easily can see how they are also helping to correct the problem from the root level. So those kind of things are there. Or even some of you will be interested to in the cooking. Again, nutrition is the one of the biggest component of Ayurvedic science. So you can even become a clinical nutritionist, as in a holistic nutritionist we call it. That's where you can give them that planning of the diet. So that's another part. Or even someone is interested to practically do the cooking, you can open an Ayurvedic restaurant, which is again becoming nowadays quite popular in the Western world, especially in USA and Europe. The others, Germany also has a lot of Ayurvedic restaurants, and people enjoy that kind of food. So then another question, sometimes people say that, look, I'm interested only to learn Ayurveda for my own health, and I'm not interested to become a practitioner. That means even though this course can give you and make you fully equipped to look after yourself and help yourself and make your own life much better, but I will definitely say that course is quite in depth. So if you want to only learn for your own benefit, I will honestly say don't commit for such an in-depth 18-month course. When you will see the course and start studying, you can see how much time is required and how much effort you need to put on. As I said, it's in a full-time kind of course. You have to put 20 hours every week to catch up with all the assignment work and all the knowledge what we are sharing on a weekly basis to grasp it and make it work. So it's in a little bit depth course. You can study some books and read some books, or on the other level if you are trying to enhance your own knowledge. Now, this answer I already have given, that the full-time course in the campus as compared to this flexible delivery, even though as I shared, flexible delivery, the way we offer, does not take away from you that sort of facility to have an interaction with your teacher on a regular basis, daily basis, and learn those things, and especially not any of the practical components are done on the online, so they are all in campus, so you don't lose anything. But still, full-time study is full-time, so where you can have, but those facilities we don't practically see happening for this science, especially when we are living around the New Zealand and trying to learn this science. So that's what I will say. Now, sometimes people say, look, hang on, I prefer go to India to study Ayurveda. Why I should consider AIAS? Perfectly fine. If you are having the ability, having the flexibility to spare 6 years to do an Ayurvedic BMS degree, for sure you must commit for that. But that is again a big commitment. Not everyone able to do that. So hence especially when you are keen to study or practice Ayurveda in New Zealand. Time is coming up that one stage will come up that you must have to have a qualification, even though, as I shared, now no one is going to ask you that what is your qualification, but if something goes wrong, that's where your qualification will be asked for and looked into. So those kind of things are there. Even if you go to India and done in a 1 year course, that course will not help you to get recognized in New Zealand with that qualification. So those kind of things. If you want to go to India, but then go only for that 6 year degree, which will help you to establish yourself anywhere in the world. Now, this is another very good question, or quite frequently get asked, that people some will say that, oh, I am not interested in the body work, right, and those kind of massage or treatment. So why I should do that? Look, again, when we talk about the course component, you will find there will be various components through which we can help our client. Not necessarily you always have to do those things, but once you have learned and you are well equipped, what are the key elements, and you might employ someone else in your clinic to do those body work. But if you have the knowledge that how to perform this particular body work effectively, you can guide your employee or therapist effectively. It's the same way like when we do our medicine and mainstream medicine. Not everything has to be applied by every doctor. Certain will just carry on as in a GP, certain will go for a specialty. So that's according to your own interest down the track, but they still, everyone has to learn about every component so that at least when you are in that situation, you can make an informed advice and decision. Now, another thing which get asked so often in Australia, but that's why I put this one here too. But at the moment, there is no bachelor degree course available in New Zealand, and the reason of that I shared already. That even though Ayurveda is becoming very, very fast and all over the world map, but New Zealand is lacking a little bit behind. We are a small country, but even just across the ditch, if you see, Australia is a huge now. It is becoming an what you call them big bombshell. Every city has at least 30, 40, 50 practitioners working in the big cities. Even in the small cities, you go to the what you call them Byron Bay area. It is full of various practitioners of Ayurvedic science, because that's an area where these kind of modalities are very widely accepted and practiced. I already answered about that this is a pity that in this country our disqualification, even though it is an NZQA recognized qualification, but not eligible for student loan. So for that, what we are trying to do from our side means many of you must be aware, because I have seen that many of you have been associated with the AIAS for few years, and this year we are very serious and very committed to run the course coherent, and we even looking at it, even if we will only get 10 students, we will run that course. That is our commitment, but less than 10, it's not possible to run the course, but that I can give you the commitment that minimum 10 students. So what we try to do is that we this year have established on the same pattern as we do in Australia to run an Ayurvedic scholarship for students who are promising, committed to learn, so that at least some kind of your fee cost can be reduced. So that's what you can inquire from the admin team. Michael will be able to give you that answer. Now, another some student asked this question: will I be learning Panchkarma therapy? What is Panchkarma? Panchkarma is one of the most profound Ayurvedic program as a detox and rejuvenation. It's means reviving your bodily intelligence at a deeper level. but that component itself is not the part of the course here, either at level 5 or 6, but various individual components are taught where you can learn. What you will not learn from them is the what we call as medicated bastis. They are special kind of enemas which we give, but those things we can talk about later on if once we are able to run them. So now this is another thing comes up. People say that, okay, I have done this, I have done that in India or USA or somewhere where they go and visit and spend few time. Can I get the recognized, what you call the recognition of prior learning? Yes, you need to apply, but for that there is an set sort of process. You have to submit your qualification, you have to submit the course content, you have to submit your teacher's qualification and assessments and assignment work. All that will be again assessed. This is what we call as RPL process, but it comes within a cost, and if you able to match, then that cost will be reduced from the course fees. That question sometimes student ask, but you never need to do that. It is not a requirement. You don't need the consultation is in a totally different part. Learning is totally in a different component. Do we have an term breaks at the each of? Yes, there is a course program which you can ask for the timetable. It will give you a clear that we try to make sure that in the school breaks and other things, student can get that time frame, because if they have a commitment for the kids and kind of thing, that's the part. Now this is related with the fees part, fee structure. Yes, we do have a payment option. Again, college administration should be able to give you the answer for that, so that you don't need to pay your lump sum in a one go. That once you have identified what is my course fees, if you get the scholarship, then that fees will be further divided into various installments and you can pay that. Now this is another question get asked. No one stop you doing 2 courses or 3 courses, but you need to look at how your workload and how you can manage that. I don't want you to become more stressful that you have taken a bigger bite and not able to do that. When you are learning, learn with a passion and commitment and dedication, whatever you want to learn. So if you have already in a bigger commitment of some courses, you need to think that whether it can work for you or not. So that is another. Sometime people ask, okay, I'm doing a yoga training. As I said, the yoga is very much an integral part, and many people who would like to become or learn about Ayurveda or become an Ayurvedic practitioner, they will or they can be an already yoga practitioner or yoga teacher or are doing. That is definitely easy, because both sciences go hand to hand and certain principles also go hand to hand, but you need to look at again your course structure, both that if there is any sort of conflict of the dates and kind of thing, you need to find out, because missing any practical work will be not letting you the further take up the course, because then it will be a waste of time, because the course does not get repeated or the training does not get repeated. Now sometime I don't see that sort of question nowadays come up, but still if someone like me who not good in the computer, then do they ask that, okay, will it affect my study? To some extent, yes, but as long as you are able to log into the class or you can do your assignments online, that is what the computer, you don't need to be very fully well skilled kind of thing to hack on a computer or like that. You can just on a simple level, your knowledge is there, so you should be able to still achieve. That means you can still do on your iPad. That's not a problem if you don't have the internet. But again, I think that sort of facility is available everywhere now in our country, so should not be an issue. Then textbook, again, when you will enroll, you will be given student, what you call them, your study manual, and those all notes will have sufficient material for you to grasp. We will also, in the each class, I will run the study part, whatever subject we are talking about, through the PPT, and I keep explaining them so you can make your own notes. The each class will be recorded and will be available to the student to just go again and re-emphasize and re-listen to if you have missed something, or someone who has missed the class for whatever reason that is available for certain days. So that's the way the program works. As far as the cost, other cost apart from the fees, nothing is involved but your airfare to, or whatever way you are coming to Auckland. If you are not from Auckland, then lodging and food and your airfare is not a part of the course. So those will be the extra cost for you. But otherwise, no cost. You will be provided everything, even when you are doing your practical training. All the oils, all the herbs, all the material is supplied by college. While studying, you don't need to purchase anything. Every equipment, everything will be supplied by college, and even you can come to do your practical component as a part of your experience, or to do your assignment. If you're around Auckland, you can use school's equipment, so you don't need to commit straight away. Once you start opening your clinic, that's where you might have to have those things. Again, some, as I shared before, if someone has some particular ailment which they feel can hamper their commitment towards more body work kind of thing, first of all, I will say that is where the strength of Ayurveda is, that even if you have certain ailment, you can help yourself by whatever you are learning and see whether it is able to take your that personal ailment away, which will give you a lot of that confidence that if it can help me, it will help the others too. But on the same note, if sometime you still have some physical issue, you might not get involved into too much of the physical those body works, or you can structure in a way that once a week you might do your body work, and the rest of the time you can do your other consultations and other part. These are all what we call as management and running the skill to how to manage your clinic. So sport wise, we have a good admin team who will help you whatever questions or difficulty. In our AIAS New Zealand campus, Michael McDonald, who is my student for last 25 years from Australia, from the first batch, he's working with me. He is the one who look after the admin part in New Zealand predominantly, but time to time the Australian team also can come up if required. That is, again, I'm not sure it will be of any difficulty. It's a simple English. If you can understand me today in this lecture, that is what you need to be. And I'm sure, even though English not my main language, but I speak reasonably okay to let the message get passed. Now, this is another question. Sometimes people ask, okay, hang on, I'm interested to learn Ayurveda. Do I need to learn Sanskrit? You don't need to, because again, even though the whole Ayurveda is written in Sanskrit language, and still the traditional texts are in Sanskrit, but they are also translated to some part on a practical level in English, and all our material is in English, and the study we will communicate through English, so everything can be explained in its meaning to the English, so you don't need to learn that part. Now, sometimes some yoga teachers or other people who are interested in yoga, they ask that, are yoga therapies as a part of the course? No, yoga therapies are separate aspect. As I mentioned, yoga is itself is in a complete modality and offer you those things, not at part. At the moment, the course is not offered for international student. We are only offer at the moment to the local student, New Zealand resident. And again, age is never a barrier. This is another thing get asked. It's all what matter is your passion, your commitment, your sincerity toward that science, and your love to help people at any age. And when we get this opportunity, nothing can stop for us to learn that. And as you can see, mostly in each group, we always have people who are above 50 or so, and they are now interested. Even sometimes many doctors are part of our courses who are in their late age factor 55, 60, and they are now interested to learn that. So that's all happening. Now, when we're talking about the course component, you will find there are some non-Ayurvedic unit, we call them, are a part of the course, which is in a basic requirement to complete the qualification. So it is a requirement from NZQA, but they are quite relevant, like first aid course you will do, how to manage your practice, how to communicate with the client, how to communicate with the other practitioner, referral kind of thing. Those are all part which actually help to manage your skill to run in a good practice. Yes, down the track, if your interest is more into teaching, you will able to learn more and more in depth, and why not to take up and spread the message and to the other. And now, as far as when we're talking about the what sort of things can I do and what skills I have, I already shared that as a lifestyle consultant, you will be able to give them the understanding about the root cause of the problem, give them that skills of how to manage their problem by making changes in their lifestyle, making changes in the diet, and how to deal with the mental issues, mental problems, suppressed emotion. All that part is there. And when we're talking about these herbs, that is no question at all. You will be able to use your single herbs combination for your client and use them in any way. Now, this is another sometime people get asked that, okay, what kind of assignment do we get fail or like that. One thing you need to remember from the very first day, that there will be an assessment or assignment for every component, but I'm not that kind of teacher that I'm looking for to make that student's life hard. As long as I can see that students are grasping the concept and able to see that they are making headways, that is what my role is. Because myself also have been a student 45 years ago. We know how the things come. It's all about practice, practice, practice. And as long as we have the desire to move forward, things works wonderfully. Again, means if you are doing a course which is NZQA approved and you have completed some unit, you can get the cross credit. That's not a question at all. Again, this is a commitment thing, as I mentioned in the early part. You can still study your course. The course, these online our classes every week will be timing will be 7:30 New Zealand time, so that's what it will go. So it will go up to 9:30 or sometime a little bit later or that kind of thing. So it should not be bothering your course unless you have a night shift or like that part. And then another thing is sometimes people ask that, can I just leave the face-to-face component? No way. Those components are very, very crucial, very important, and you will learn a lot of skill. So if you feel that those dates or those time of 9 days commitment, other thing, I cannot commit, then I will say that don't look for this course. That can be a little bit tricky then for you. Now, this is something, again, very practically get asked questions. Some girls, and predominantly you will see that in each course we always have more girls and women there, and yes, they can start their family and like that. But if you are planning the course, if you know how much time and commitment is there, that is something you can make an informed decision based on your situations. Deferment is something, if you have completed one particular unit, you can get the credit for that, and some next time you have to re-enroll, and but that component can be excluded. So this is how you can look at. But otherwise, you cannot just drop out and defer and then restart from the same level. Oops, what happened there? Yes, there is a refund policy that for a certain time before the course start, you can get a full refund, or if you have start studying and then there is a 10 days or 14 days period we call as a cooling, which is a requirement of the NZQA. So in that you can get your refund. Yes, that 7 days program, we are all the time available in the class, and then our other teacher like Michael will be also available to look at the other part. When we talk about now that once you complete your study and you become a practitioner, availability of the products is very much in New Zealand. There are many online herb suppliers also, and everything you will be able to get that. And that is what the future of Ayurveda is. This is one of the graduate class of our Australian students. So that's how we have to look at that, how we can take Ayurveda in New Zealand now to the next level, which is definitely we are very keen and committed. So let's have now question answers. So what you can do, you can type your question and just click on the everyone, so everyone can read that question, and then I can answer. No, level 5 qualification, you will call yourself as a Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant. And when you have completed the level 6 qualification, you will call yourself as a Ayurvedic practitioner. Once a year we do offer, that is in March the course will start. Next intake will be next March, then in 21. At 20 hours, basically, we should say that at least 20 hours will require for you to complete your assignment work or certain other things, or reinforcing the study and all that part to understand the subject. That sort of commitment is required. A little bit less or like that, that's how you should focus for. Yes, that's right. Level 5 is Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant, and level 6 is an Ayurvedic practitioner. Yeah, that's good. Yes, you can still practice at a level 5. What you will not have, that, as I said, the body work, there will be certain body works which you will learn in the level 5, and in the level 6 there are more advanced treatments part. In the same way, when you're talking about the herbs, there is a set of herbs we learn in the level 5, and you can combine those herbs with the various way which we will teach anyway. But when you go to the level 6, you will start learning more in depth, complex Ayurvedic traditional preparations and other things. That's how the difference is. And in the same way, pathology will be more deeper for the various diseases and understand. You will also have a more skill, like your clinical skill of pulse diagnosis, tongue diagnosis, and Ayurvedic iridology and other things are more in depth in level 6. Yes, that is always a possibility. Some of our students from Australia, they go and work in India in various hospital, and those people really very very surprised at how in depth these students have knowledge of Ayurveda when they are going from countries like Australia and like that. So those things are something can be worked out. Yes, Shirodhara is very much a part of the level 5, and you will easily able to get into that after completing your level 5 courses. Uh, the prospector mentioned 200 hours of the supervised clinical training. Are those the on-campus training hours, and does the course include mandatory practice hours at a community center? We don't have that part of the mandatory to work at a community center, but there is what we call as the assignment work of that many body work treatments you have to do and submit them to be assessed. You will give a small video of that to be part. So that's the way we look at it. And then certain our clinical cases you have to do, which will be part of the course, as well as you have to do them as an unsupervised, but then you need to present in the class. So that's how those programs are done. Okay, so if no more question, then you can always welcome to email us about any question, any query you have. If you feel that you are ready to start this year, you can apply for your scholarship kit, and Michael should be able to send you that kit. Or if you will have still any question which you feel you're not able to ask, send an email to Michael, and I will respond to that, and we can always answer that question. And the rest, I think it's all good, and maybe hope to see many of you in the course this year so that we can run the course. Thanks everyone, and having a good time. Latest date to enroll, Jessica, is once you are ready, you can apply, and any time you can join. But I think last date to enroll is the 31st January or so, because the course start in first week of March. Okay, thanks everyone, and good night.